everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, a few days ago I put out a video on this really nice dishcloth pattern that I really enjoy, and today what we're going to focus on is the matching dish towel. So I think you'll really like the matching set. It's really very beautiful. I think it has a nice texture to it. The cotton yarn that I use has a nice softness to it that really feels great, and I think it's just a cute set. So today we're going to focus on the dish towel. If you haven't seen the dishcloth pattern, I will put a link for that below in the description box. For this project, I am going to use a cotton bamboo blend yarn. This is Lion brand Coboo. Now, I would always suggest that if you're doing wash rags, dish towels, that you use a cotton just because of the absorbency, dry time, etc. I think it's just a better material for those types of items. But I like the cotton bamboo blend. The bamboo gives it a touch of softness here, and if you've used cotton before, you know sometimes it can be a little rough to the touch. I just think this is a little bit softer, and I think it's nicer to work with. So I'm using the Coboo by Lion brand. This is a weight 3 yarn. Again, you can use whatever cotton yarn that you want. You can use a different weight if you'd like. You just might need to alter your hook size, you know, depending on what size you want for your dish towel. That's totally up to you. In addition to this, I'm also going to use an accent color, because when we get to the border, I just want a little splash of color around the border. So I also, along with this denim color, I'm also going to use the Coboo white. And it'll give a nice little color around the border. You do not have to do that. You can do it all one color if you'd like. It's totally up to you, but that's what I'm going to do. In addition, tapestry needles, scissors, and then you'll also need for this a 5mm hook. And again, that goes with this weight and this yarn. If you want to do something different, please feel free to do so. So let's take a look at our first steps here. I have a little bit of a head start, and I went ahead and did a chain of 43 here. Now, just a couple of comments about that. You can make your dish towel as wide as you want. The only requirement for this particular pattern is that it be an even number plus 1. So for me, I wanted it 42 chain, but I needed one more at the end, so I made it 43. If you want yours to be 50 chain wide, just make it 51. So whatever you want to do, however wide you want to make that, that's totally fine. So for here's 43. And to start with, I'm going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So not that one, but the next one. And I will do 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, I'm going to do a double crochet. And now I'm going to alternate that back and forth. So the next stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. The next stitch, I'm going to do a double crochet. And you'll want to alternate between single and double crochet all the way across the row, and you should end with a double crochet if you counted your chains correctly. So go ahead and finish up going across the chain, alternating single and double crochet, and then we will meet back at the end and talk about row 2. Okay, I finished row 1 except for this last chain here. I'm going to go ahead and end with my double crochet. So as a reminder, we started the row with a single crochet, we ended the row with a double crochet, and that's row 1. Now what we want to do is chain 1 and turn, and now we're going to do row 2. So we're going to do that same alteration between single crochet and double crochet. You just want your single crochets in the stitches where we had done a double crochet and a double crochet in the stitches where we did a single crochet. So you know we ended with a double crochet here, so we will start row 2 with a single crochet. Into the next stitch, you're going to do a double crochet. Now back to single crochet. And back to double crochet. So you're just going to alternate that between single and double. And row 2, just like row 1, starts with a single crochet and ends with a double crochet. That's your whole pattern. It's pretty simple. So what you want to do now is go ahead and finish that again. Start with a single crochet, end with a double crochet, chain 1 and turn. Repeat that until you have a dish towel the length that you'd like it to be. It's totally up to you. It's probably going to be somewhere around maybe 50 rows. It all depends on how long you'd like your towel to be. But go ahead and repeat row 2 until you get that to the length that you'd like, and then we'll go from there and talk about the border. Okay, I have finished here and I ended up repeating row 2, let's see, 58 times. So I have a total of 60 rows here for my dish towel. Now, again, depending on the yarn and the hook that you use, you may need more or less repeats. Just really focus on making it the size that you want your dish towel to be. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a border around the entire towel. And as I mentioned, I am going to have a stripe of white in here, but I'm going to start with the first row of the border being the blue that I've already been using. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn. And first I'm just going to do single crochets all the way across. Now the important part here is that anytime that we have a corner, we want to make sure that we do 3 stitches in the corner. That helps keep that corner nicely rounded and flat. If you don't have that, your work might kind of bend or curl in. So you want to have those extra stitches in the corner just to keep that from doing that. So I'm going to go ahead with single crochets in the corners, and the 3 of them, and then just single crochets all the way across this first one. So we're going to count this first stitch here. Let me move the camera up a little bit here. We're going to count this first stitch here as the corner stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 3 single crochets in this very first stitch. That will start off our corner. Okay, so I have 3 single crochets in there now. I'm just going to single crochet all the way across. This is not a situation where you're alternating between single and double. It's just really easy single crochets all the way across. So keep doing that until you get to the next corner, and then we'll talk about that corner and what to do along the side. I went ahead and completed the single crochets all the way across here, and I've come to the last stitch of this row, and I'm going to go ahead and put 3 single crochets in that last stitch there. That's going to be my corner, and that will help me round over to the side. Now along the side you're going to need to also put single crochets, but unlike the top or the bottom, there's no clear indication of where you should really put your stitches. So you're going to want to eyeball it a little bit and make sure that you have stitches that are evenly spaced out across the side, and you're going to want them to be even with the other side. So if you end up putting, I'm just making this up, but if you end up putting 60 on one side, you're going to want 60 on the other side. A couple of things to think about when you're doing this. You're going to want them as evenly spaced as you have along the top, so you can see how far apart they are here. That's about how far apart you want them along the side. And if you put too many stitches in, you'll end up with a little ruffle here because it'll be too tight. If you like the ruffle, that's fine. If you don't and you want it to lay flat, you're going to want to stick with having them be spaced like they are across the top. One last point I'd make about putting stitches in the side is make sure that if you're going to do them, and this is just an example, don't just go under one thread. Make sure you've gone into a place where you can go under two. So like that would not be a good place to put one. But if we can go back a little bit, see if you can see that, and see I'm now under two stitches there, two threads on that side. That's a good spot to put a single crochet. If you just put it where there is only one, you're going to pull on that a little bit. So just kind of take a look and see where your next best place is to put that. You can see where there's some spots where they have two. And then as you start putting some in, and I'm just going to put a few in here like this, I'm just choosing some spots where I can get in there and go under two threads. Stop and take a look at it. And how does that compare with the top? Looks pretty good, right? So go ahead and continue putting single crochets all the way around the side. When you get to this very last stitch on the side, it should be probably where you started, where your starting chain is there. And we can talk about the 3 stitches in the corner and then going across the bottom. So I'll meet you back there. Okay, so I went ahead and finished putting the single crochets all along the side. And I'm to the bottom edge now. This is where our foundation chain started. I'm going to go ahead and put 3 single crochets in this last stitch right here. And I'm going to go ahead and put single crochets all across the bottom. So you want to put those in each of the foundation chains that you started with down there. Another hint here is that you don't have to, but you may want to weave this in. This is the tail of your foundation chain. Just weave that in as you are putting in your single crochets. Just kind of hold that there so that while you go ahead and put your single crochets in, it's including that right in those stitches, and then it's a little less work to do at the end once you've finished putting in all your stitches. It's just one less one for you to weave in there. So you might want to do that. You don't have to, but just a suggestion for you. So go ahead and put your single crochets all the way in the bottom, your 3 single crochets in the corner, and then just like you did on the other side, go ahead and do single crochets all the way up this side, and then I'll meet you back here where we started with the 3 single crochets in the corner, and we'll talk about what to do next. Okay, we finished going all the way around with our single crochets, and we're back up to the beginning where we started with the 3 single crochets in the corner stitch. And this is where we would join to complete this border all the way around. Now you have a couple of options here. You can stop here, join this stitch and be done, or you can join the stitch and do another round of blue, or you can switch yarns to a different color, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to put that row of white all the way around just to give it some contrast. And that's what I'm going to do. If you want to finish it off here, and by the way, you don't even need to do the border. If you don't want to do a border, you don't have to. I just think it gives a nice straight edge to the sides so that you don't have all the bumpies all the way down. But again, you don't have to do that. So if you want to finish this off right here, all you need to do is do a slip stitch into that very first single crochet that we did, which is this one here, and just do a slip stitch, go through the single crochet and this, and then you can be done. Otherwise, if you want to switch color, you can do that. You want to start the slip stitch by putting your hook in that top of the first of the 3 that you put in the corner, and then you want to pick up your second color. You want to finish the slip stitch with your new color. Okay, so I've got the hook through the top of that first stitch there, and then I've grabbed my white, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the white through. Sorry, I got to hold both of them here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull the white through the top of that, and then the last stitch around. Now you can see it still joined it, the blue all the way around, but now you're prepared for the white. If you would pull it through with the blue and then join the white, you'd see the stitches disjointed there. So you want to actually start with the white. Okay, now let's go on to round 2 of the border. I just chained 1, and you can see these are the 1, 2, 3, there's 3 stitches that are in that corner. And I'm going to go ahead and put single crochets there. So here's the 3. In that very corner stitch, you want to put 3 again. So the ones on either side are going to have a single crochet there. So we're going to single crochet. And then here's the middle of the 3. I'm going to put 3 single crochets in that one. And this is the 3rd stitch that was in that corner of the previous round. We're going to put a single crochet there. And now single crochet all the way around. When you get to the next corner, find where your 3 are. There are my 3. You'll do a single crochet in the first one, 3 single crochets in that very corner stitch, and then a single crochet and continue on. Same with your next corner, same thing. Find where your 3 are. There's our 3, 1, 2, 3. That very middle one is where you're going to put your 3 single crochets so that you can continue that building up that corner. So go ahead and do that either with your normal color or your contrast color, and do the single crochets all the way around with 3 in the corner. And I will meet you back here where we started the white and talk about the next round. I have finished putting the single crochet in white all the way around. Nice contrasting color there that I think that looks great. You don't have to do that, as I mentioned earlier, and if you want to, you could just finish off here. Just finish the remaining single crochets and do a slip stitch into that first stitch, and you can call it done. I am going to, however, put one final row of the denim blue all the way around just to have a little finishing edge to this. Now, since it was just the row before that I was at the blue, I didn't fasten it off or anything. I left it there. And I'm going to show you how I incorporate that back up. It's down 1 row. I want to get it up to this level before I start using it. It makes it a little less conspicuous that I left that in there. So I want to hide it a little bit. As you notice, I have 1 single crochet left. I'm going to start the single crochet. I'm just going to wrap this blue around to bring it up to that level before I finish my single crochet with the old color. So I'm going to finish my single crochet in white. As you can see, that brought that blue up here, up to the top, which is where I want it. And it's hidden behind that white single crochet that I just finished. So it's kind of a sneaky way to bring that back up to the right row without being able to see that. And then you don't have to fasten off and weave the ends in, etc. Okay, so I did that, and now I'm going to finish this row by doing a slip stitch to join. But remember how we do that. If we want to switch colors, start the join and then switch to the new color. So I will finish the join with the new color. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 1 Now, what I'm going to do for this final row, I want it to be a little bit thicker than this single crochet white row, just to have a little bit more color at that end. And I'm going to do half double crochets. And you don't have to. You can do single crochet if you want to. You can do it however you want, or you don't need to have this last row. I just think it'll look a little nicer with a little thicker border on that last one. So as usual, when I get to the corner, I am going to do 3 half double crochets in the corner. So there's my corner stitch right there. I'm going to do 3 half double crochets. If you're not sure how to do a half double crochet, go ahead and check out the video tutorial I have for that. I will leave that as a link in the description box below, but it's pretty simple. Okay, I did those 3 half double crochets in the corner, and before I go too far, I know I'm done with the white now, so I am going to just cut that, leave a little bit there so I can weave it in later and get that out of my way so it doesn't tangle in my yarn. Okay, and now I am going to finish doing half double crochets all the way around. I am going to do, every time I get to my corner stitch, I'm going to do 3 half double crochets in my corner, and then I will do that all the way around. So you go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back here where we started our half double crochets, and we will finish this off together. Okay, we did it. You can see that the final row around the border is that little bit thicker than the white there to help with the contrast and offsetting that a little bit, and I really like the look of that half double crochet instead of a single crochet. So I'm back to the very end. This is where we started. I am going to do a slip stitch into the top stitch and finish that out, and that is the end. At this point, all you need to do is I like to do one final chain before pulling mine through to fasten that off. And I'm going to go ahead and weave in these ends. Just make sure that you're weaving in the white where the white is and the blue where the blue is. Otherwise it'll show through that, that little bit of white that you have there. So I hope that you like this. Be sure to check out the matching washcloth or dishcloth that I have that goes with this pattern. I'll put a link to that in the description box below, and then you can make your own set for your kitchen or maybe for a friend's kitchen. I hope you like this. If you do, please take a minute to like and subscribe. That would really help my channel out a bit, and I appreciate you all watching today. Thanks, everyone.